All right, so happy College Football 26 release day to those who celebrate, or for those who got the pre-order. I guess the rest of yous will have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, you poor people.
But it seems like every college football Twitter account has tweeted out like the same video. The wait is over. Bring glory home. Now, I think do all the part of the settlement was like all the players, do they all get free copies to the game or something like that now?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the schools are like directly intertwined with the college football video game now. Nebraska just tweeted out a minute and 15 long hype video using clips from the game. They talk about the light show. There's a drone show, and a lot of people doing like first down. During
Sipple loves that.
honestly, Sipple does love that, and honestly, it kind of fired me up. Sorry.
Yeah, I was ready for you to make some sort of sarcastic quip afterwards, and then you were like,
Yeah.
you know what? That worked for me.
Yeah, it did. I can't really explain it, but it did. It worked for me.
I'm happy for everyone who's happy today.
Are you? You seem mildly annoyed by the conversation.
This has been a normal video game cycle where like,
Yes.
hey, it's coming.
Yes.
Okay, we're ready. Okay, it's here.
There won't be
last year was
rough. There will be probably not as much conversation when the college basketball video game comes out in like 2 or 3 years, whatever it ends up being.
That's a backyard baseball situation. Ain't nobody playing that.
It probably won't get like covered on a professional basis by everyone in the media. But we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. But it's out noon Eastern, I guess. So you just have to be an adult still and budget your time correctly. Good luck to everybody out there. Speaking of things that happened this weekend and Nebraska football, boy, here's the conversation. Nebraska losing another in-state recruit. This one they actually went after and wanted. So much so his brother plays for the team.
Oh, well, this should be a slam dunk then.
It was not.
Oh.
He's at Iowa now. He's committed to Iowa anyway.
Oh, wow.
So this got some people riled up this weekend. Iowa fans very much enjoy rage baiting Nebraska fans. I think Creighton fans probably enjoy rage baiting Nebraska fans as well.
It's so easy.
It works. Many take the bait. Many take the bait every single time. But sometimes this is going to happen when if you pull up a list of the top 2026 recruits in the state of Nebraska, here are the places that they are committed to in order via 24/7 Sport. This is just their ranking. This is not my ranking. These are the top 16 players in the state. They're the only 16 players ranked in the state.
The state of Nebraska.
The state of Nebraska. They play high school football in the state of Nebraska as ranked by 24/7 Sports, and the places they are committed to. Alabama, Iowa, in order. Iowa State, Northwestern, Iowa State, Missouri, Iowa State, Washington State, Nebraska, Fresno State, Illinois, Fresno State. That's right. Fresno State is killing Nebraska in recruiting on Nebraska's prospects. Your takes?
Whoa. What the hell's going on over there?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. And we could try to rationalize it all we want. But I do think there's some legitimacy to the topic, right?
Also, go clones.
I mean, there's only a couple of these guys that Nebraska felt they wanted and needed to pursue and had room for and checked all the boxes and all those different things. So that context is important to the conversation. But I think we could all admit, no matter how much of a Husker homer you are, no matter how much you're like, hey, look, man, Nebraska did, this is what they do. It's definitely still weird to look at that list of 16 players and only see one of them committed to the University of Nebraska and have 6 of them committed to Iowa State and one of them to Alabama and one of them to Iowa and one of them to Missouri and 2 of them to Illinois, right? It's odd at the very least. So what do we make of this? I don't know, man. It really is a case by case basis. We don't have to overreact. We're going to talk to Schaefer about it in a couple minutes and break the whole thing down. This is not a new conversation. We've kind of known that it was going to go this way for, a long time. When you pull this list at the end of the year, there's going to be one or two guys that are going to be at Nebraska, and the rest of them are going to be at Iowa State or Iowa or I guess Alabama. They got a quarterback from the state. So I do think it's worth a conversation. I saw a lot of Nebraska fans over the weekend just like, move on, nothing to see here. But we can all admit it makes it a little bit more frustrating, especially when Nebraska goes after a prospect. And, I don't know all the intimate details on the Darian Jones recruitment, but we're talking about a guy who, yes, there's always been some Iowa blood there, but his brother goes to Nebraska. Nebraska is pursuing. They would have taken him in the class down in the final two, and he chooses to go to Iowa.
His brother should theoretically be saying how great it is here. Like, hey, I'll tell you how it really is.
Yeah.
Aside from the recruiting pitch,
I did see some video of Donovan Jones, who afterwards, he was like, no, man, no, did that whole thing. It was a great show, all that stuff. So what do we do with this information? Do we freak out? Do we continue to get rage baited by Iowa fans? Or do we just move on with our lives and hope and pray that Nebraska wins? We don't have to rationalize everything Nebraska does. Would I prefer it if Nebraska had the ability in their mind to go after and retain in-state prospects? Sure. Is it also, the side note is the other thing that we follow in the state is the individual journeys of these in-state recruits, right? We had it in basketball several years ago where, all those guys, Chucky and Hunter Salas and whatever, none of those guys end up at Nebraska. They end up at other places, and look at them now. They had good careers, and I don't think they, Frankie Fiddler goes from Omaha and he goes to Michigan State, and I don't know if that rubbed people the wrong way. They kind of sort of understood that, I suppose. But, it is the other side of this is from the high school thing, which is it is cool in my mind that you can literally say now, if you are a football player, a basketball player in the Omaha metro area, number one, you will be seen. And number two, you will be recruited by whoever wants to recruit you. And that's all you want at the end of the day. You want to go somewhere where you're valued and you are welcomed into the family and you are, maybe paid, the requisite amount in this rev share, whatever it might be. You want to go somewhere where you're valued. And Nebraska, not to say that they don't value these players, but they made their evaluations and decided to not pursue many of these in-state recruits. It has multiple effects. No, Nebraska is not getting them. No, Nebraska is not going, maybe they get them on the second time back or something like that. They develop good relationships over time, and then they transfer back to Nebraska. But it is undoubtedly good for the high schools and good for the state that the door is kind of open, right? It's a much different time than it was 10 or 15 years ago. I think 10 or 15 years ago, that door was closed. If there was 16 3-star plus ranked prospects in the state of Nebraska 14, 15 years ago, whatever it might be, there's a lot of schools that probably aren't just, they aren't coming in to really try that much. Maybe they'll dip their toe in the water and they'll grab one or two, but that door was generally closed. Nebraska had it closed. It was like, yeah, we're going to bring these guys in. We'll take you. Nebraska does not have the flexibility or the ability to take every single one of them now. And other schools are deeming that they can, and they are good enough to play at their place, and they do fit what they want. And so they are saying, you're still on our list. Why don't you come here? And they go to the places where they're kind of valued. Does that make sense? I mean, I think we could really see both sides of this thing. We don't have to we don't have to rigorously defend Nebraska's move at every single turn. Like I said, I think it's odd. When you look at that list and you see that there's only one Nebraska guy and one Nebraska commit on the list.
And 2 Fresno State commits.
And 2 Fresno State and 6 Iowa States and 1 Alabama and 1 Iowa.
Some reaction from the YouTube chat.
Yeah, let's go.
Captain, who knows where those players will be in 2 years?
Who knows where those players will be in 2 years?
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Bad Takes Doug. All those dudes.
Oh, is this about Creighton?
Really Nebraska wants. Different viewpoint. Which is how you opened the segment.
Are all those dudes really Nebraska once?
Didn't-
No.
Yeah.
No. To the point from before, for sure. No. No. Nebraska did not go 0 or 1 for 16 on the entire state because they didn't pursue all of these players. That is an important contextual point to put into this thing. No matter how much you're rage baited by Iowa fans and saying, well, you went to, look at all these top prospects in the state of Nebraska. They don't want to go there anymore. I think with that being said, though, there is a kernel of truth to it. Like I said, the door is open. The door is ajar for other schools to come in and say, look, man, we like the talent here. We're familiar with the coaches. We're familiar with the high schools. Chances are, if you're a school around here in the Midwest, you have had a player from Omaha or Lincoln or whatever that has gone to your school and had success. So there's proof of performance now. Everywhere is going to give you a great opportunity to, have a great college experience. It's not just Nebraska athletes that are treated well these days. It's everyone. There's a lot of great facilities. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of great coaches around the country. So they can all sell that with the proof of performance behind it. And they could say, look, we're, this could be a great experience for you too. If they, meaning Nebraska, are kicking the tires and you're not sure if they're all the way in or not, this could be the place where you go. I think that's an important piece to remember here. What else do we have here? Doug. Oh, Bad Takes Doug. Connor, why going into basketball here makes no connection? Football, basketball, two different Bert. Well, I explain that, Doug. I brought up basketball to say that the door is ajar, right? That doesn't have to be a bad thing for Nebraska. It does mean Nebraska will have to probably work a little bit harder. It does mean Nebraska will, it does mean that prospects around the area, they want to hear, it used to be from the perspective of, hey, just come to Nebraska because it is what you do, right? Now you have leverage. Now you have other schools that are recruiting you. You have, other things that you could potentially do at this point. So yes, it doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world, but notably, it is odd looking at the list. That's for sure.
Hokey Skir says this class is more national. So moving on.
You're moving on. That's cool. Yeah. I have no predictions on what Nebraska might do. Like all I could say at the end of this thing, just like I would say for any other class, is you better hope they pan out. You better hope that Nebraska has success, because if they have success, then we're not going to talk about this.
How many times did we watch Notre Dame and go, man, how'd we let that guy get out of the state?
Sure.
And other schools, but
many, many, many other schools, Josh. Let's see. Oh yeah. Wanted to bring up ESPN from over the weekend here real quick.
I'm sorry, what network?
Oh, sorry. The network that Jeremy Schaap works for.
ESPN.
Was he? I was not a good American on Friday. I did not watch the hot dog eating contest. I heard that Jeremy Schaap was involved in that somehow. He was involved in the ESPN coverage.
Whoa.
Did you watch it? No.
A little bit on mute.
Okay. So you didn't see George Shea's intro?
I didn't hear it. I saw him.
Oh, I went back and saw it later. It was good.
It's our friend.
It was good. By the way, on the Nebraska things, Jimmy writes in, Nebraska will field a team of players. They will either be good or bad. That is an excellent prediction.
Accurate.
That is an excellent prediction. So here's some things that ESPN did over the weekend. First of all, they had their MLB All-Star Selection show over the weekend.
Great, yeah.
You know what? I almost had an entire topic written out of like, I don't think I like the way that MLB selects these All-Stars, but I couldn't come up with an alternative.
Okay.
It seems too convoluted, but I know that it's significantly less convoluted than all the other All-Star games, so I just dropped the topic entirely.
There's a legend pick. Is that new?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I think Miguel Cabrera's got it.
Okay.
He got it like last year or 2
Okay.
years ago. The commissioner could just say, we would like to reward career achievement.
It's important
He's
for
not
you
an
to be in
all-star.
this game.
Yes.
You're in this game. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Now, you get an all-star tacked on to your resume so if Clayton Kershaw was like an 11-time all-star, he's now a 12-time all-star. Is this true? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. So speaking of that, they went to have their selection show, all-star selection show. Everybody's tuned into ESPN, 5:00 yesterday. And unfortunately, live sports do sometimes get in the way. You can't control live sports. Sometimes they go too long.
Sure. Yeah.
But they did not,
that.
ESPN did not plan on the cornhole tournament lasting long, which is what delayed the all-star selection show yesterday. So ESPN got yelled at on yesterday because they made cornhole go too long.
Those are live tournaments that they show? I just thought it was the same tournament that they've been looping for the last 16 years.
That's a great question, actually. I assume it was live. I assume that's why it went long. So that was one thing.
Oh, okay.
They put on too much cornhole. Also, sadly, we lost Bobby Jenks over the weekend, former Chicago White Sox closer. Through the got 2 saves in the 2005 World Series for the White Sox, pitched in all 4 games. They swept the Astros. Rookie sensation that year, and went on to be a 2-time All-Star in his career after that. A heck of a pitcher during that time. ESPN tweeted upon his passing on Saturday, Bobby Jenks, a 2-time All-Star pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, who was on the roster when the franchise won the 2005 World Series, died on Friday in Portugal, the team announced.
Yeah, what's your problem with that?
Well, Josh, he wasn't just on the roster. He was like a stud closer and got 2 saves in the World Series.
That's your opinion?
That's actually not my opinion. He pitched in all 4 games. He got 2 saves in the World Series. He threw the last pitch of the world. He got the final out of the World Series. He was at the bottom of the dog pile. ESPN comes through and they say, "Yeah, I guess he was there." People are not happy about that. Also, Karl Ravech, our boy, Karl Ravech.
Yes, friend of Omaha.
He forgot what count it was. He thought it was a 3-1 count. And it was not. It was a strikeout to end the inning?
It was. Both teams ran back to the dugout, and he
was like, "What's going on?"
You could tell he wanted to say, "Where is everyone going?
Where is everyone going?
They're the ones that are wrong, not me." But he did sort of like, "Okay, I'm going to hold."
They had a great.
Are we sure? Okay, we're sure. Okay, we're going to break.
They had so that play at first, where the guy, he slid to kind of avoid the tag at first base. And there was this whole like review process afterwards. So they had Mason Wynn, the Cardinals shortstop, mic'd up last night. It was an uncompetitive game. It wasn't, it was the 4th inning. I think it was 6-0 by this time where this play happened. So they get through all this stuff and then they go back to action. They're like, "Hey, Mason, what did you think?" That was pretty good. Like they immediately got a player reaction on this. And Mason Wynn was like, "Yeah, I'd be pissed if I got called out for that." So that was good. So I wanted to give a little bit of shout out to ESPN, but I wanted to bring the point up, which is people really like yelling at ESPN these days.
Oh, it gives people great satisfaction.
The tide has turned on ESPN. People do not respect ESPN anymore. They say, they're just like, "Well, what would you expect from this network?" And then, when it's something Major League Baseball involved, they'll say, "Well, they couldn't give away the rights any sooner from ESPN," and stuff like that. Like, first of all, they got a lot of stuff going on. everything can't be perfect, but their mistakes these days get magnified, and magnified by the internet. I just find it interesting how the tide is just completely turned on this network gradually to this point where they can't do anything right anymore, according to the public. They really can't.
That's the exact sentiment people have.
They cannot do anything right anymore, according to the public.
Now, even if it's something their own doing,
even if it's something good, somebody would be like, "Well, it's ESPN, so they'll find a way to screw it up." Let me tell you this: you get to that point, you're in trouble.
Oh, now, yeah.
What does it actually mean, like from a business standpoint? I mean, they're not going to stop being the worldwide leader in sports. They're not going to stop being the network that everybody turns to after the game,
surpassing them.
Yeah, to go watch SportsCenter and stuff like that. But it is an interesting American public sentiment that we look at our, the once beloved and cherished property as like, I can't believe this has devolved into this. And like you said, Josh, it's their own doing. It's a long laundry list of things over the last 10, 15 years, whether it be, cuts and firings and changing programming and hiring the wrong people and, giving Stephen A. Smith 1 million hours of airtime to say whatever the hell he wants and paying him $8 billion to do all of those things. It's all that stuff just wrapped into one. And the sentiment is, I just can't trust these guys anymore. If I have a property, if I want a thing that that I'm going to show and produce, and I want to showcase, I can't trust them to do that, which is fascinating.
I'm trying to think of something similar. I don't know, Saturday Night Live, like.
Definitely fallen out of the good graces of the American public.
Anytime, but we had fun during the 50th anniversary reunion, didn't we, people?
Yeah.
Gosh.
But it's almost like when a good episode of SNL happens, we're like, oh yeah, that's what it used to be like. We actually give SNL credit for it. People don't give ESPN credit for anything.
Oh, week 1 of College Game Day, we'll go, wow, this is a perfect day.
Even that people started to yell. Yeah. Now McAfee might have saved it. McAfee and company might have saved it.
They only talk about the SEC on College Game.
Oh yeah, there's all that stuff too,
which is true.
And then there's ESPN went woke, which is what Hockey Dad says right now.
Go woke, go broke.
They went woke,
and they're gonna go broke.
There you go. Maybe that's the question that we should be asking. Did ESPN go woke and then broke?
Well, I don't think they're broke. They are broken. Go woken, go broken.
Let's keep an eye on that. They can't do anything right, according to the internet, anyway, these days.
And the internet famously loves a lot of things.
Well, the internet famously loves itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important point to note.